Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast. And today, I'm going to answer the question as to whether or not Josh Allen will be able to take the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl, or if in reality, he is the one that is holding them back. Before we start the video, I would just like to remind you guys, hit that like, subscribe, it means a lot, and it takes 2 seconds out of your day. And anyways, I would never want you to be missing out on this regular content here at the Hard Count. So now with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. As we all know by now, Josh Allen, starting quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. He had the team had a great season last year. They made the playoffs. I know they eventually fell to Deshaun Watson's Texans in the wild card round, but I don't think it should take too much away from their season. They had a great season, surprised a lot of people. Again, in this video, we're going to be taking a deeper look into Josh Allen's game and seeing whether or not he is the quarterback for the Bills this year or the next couple of years to lead them to a Super Bowl. And of course, to help us evaluate Josh Allen, we're going to be using my quarterback criteria, which is 4 categories: arm strength, mobility, arm talent, and definitely most importantly, accuracy. And if I think Josh Allen is proficient in each category, I'll give him a check. And if I don't think he's proficient in that specific category, I will not give him a check, and I'll explain why he does not deserve a check in that category. So first, let's start with what many people consider one of the strongest points of Josh Allen's game, his arm strength. And, I think Josh Allen's arm strength is tremendous. It is up there with the best in the league: Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford. The ability to throw deep is very good, and his ability to throw with good velocity is good as well. So, especially in the middle of the field, I really like that. When we get in accuracy, I'll go a little more in depth about Josh Allen's deep ball throwing, but in terms of physically being able to throw the ball down the field with power, it's never a problem for Josh Allen and has always been one of the biggest strengths of his game, even out of college. So I think we get a big check here for arm strength. Now we have mobility, and I think that this is one of the best parts of Josh Allen's game. I think I would only take 2 guys in the league in terms of mobility over Josh Allen's. Those 2 are Kyler Murray and, of course, Lamar Jackson. But I love Allen's mobility. I think it's more unique. He is more of a power runner and more kind of like Cam Newton, what I see, power runner, more of Cam Newton in his prime. And I think it really helps open up the offense. Mobility is always a good thing in quarterbacks. It helps open up the offense. Not only do I like Allen's ability to scramble, perform well in design runs, but I also like the ability to move outside the pocket, extend plays. It is very helpful and really applies to the new era of quarterbacks. We see that direction of quarterbacks heading that way. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. Those are some of my top guys there who all are able to extend plays by moving out of the pocket. So, not only is Josh Allen very mobile, but he's also outside of the pocket. He's also pretty elusive in the pocket as well. Kind of reminds me of Big Ben. He's big and he's able to take a lot of hits, kind of be elusive in the pocket without really moving around. So that's big as well. So definitely a check here for mobility. Again, same thing coming out of college. This was a big strength of Josh Allen's, and it still is a big strength of his. So big check there for Josh Allen. Now we take a look at his arm talent, and I would give him a check here. Not as big of a strength as his arm strength and mobility, but I think we look at it, and his ability to throw off balance and off the back leg is pretty good. He has a quick release oftentimes, which does help with this, and he's also able to throw on the run, running in both directions, which some guys have struggles with, and he doesn't. So I think that is not as big of a check for arm talent, but it is still a check for Josh Allen. I think he's still above average in the arm talent category. And now, finally, the last category, and the most important category, for sure, accuracy. And I think this is the biggest hole in Josh Allen's game. He is one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the league at all areas of the field. And as I talked about earlier, I think this is where one of the biggest misconceptions of Josh Allen's game comes in. And that is that he throws a great deep ball. Josh Allen, as I said, has great arm strength, but that does not mean that he throws a great deep ball. In fact, Pro Football Focus, PFF, made a list of the best deep ball throwers in the game, 1 to 32, and Josh Allen ended up dead last on that list. Yes, even behind guys like Mitch Trubisky and Tyrod Taylor, guys on that tier. So not very good. And after watching the film, I can confirm this as well. I am not impressed by Josh Allen's deep ball throwing at all. He's very inaccurate on those throws. And then if for some reason, if you do not trust me or PFF that actually watch the game, and the only thing that you look at is completion percentage for accuracy, Josh Allen ranks 33rd in deep ball completion percentage. It's plays like this one up on the screen here. John Brown running a post route to the outside. He's wide open, and if Josh Allen just hits it, it's a wide open, easy touchdown, or at least a big gain for John Brown. And we see many of these circumstances come up in the Bills game, and Josh Allen is not able to take advantage of them. So that's a big knock for me on Josh Allen. Not only do we see the struggle in deep balls, being accurate on those deep balls, but I think it's a consistent struggle all over the field for Josh Allen. He ranked 35th in accuracy rating, below guys like Kyle Allen. And now I will give some credit to where it's due, however, because sometimes his lack of accuracy is bailed out by his athleticism, his ability to escape and, just scramble if he needs to. But as I've said many times in this video, accuracy is the most important piece of a quarterback's game. And a team, I don't think, can consistently succeed with an inaccurate quarterback. You may be asking me, though, what about Jimmy G, Jared Goff? They weren't great quarterbacks, right? And they made it to the Super Bowl. But yes, they're not great, but they were accurate. And I think the difference between them and Josh Allen is that Jared Goff and Jimmy G are both quarterbacks that run the system that they're put in very well. And Josh Allen is somebody that limits the system that they are put in. So, again, the Bills were bottom 10 in offensive DVOA last season. And this was with a good offensive line, not great, but good. Some underrated receivers, a good running back core. But why were they rated so poorly? Why were they rated bottom 10 in the league? It's because of Josh Allen. Not to mention, Josh Allen rated as one of the worst quarterbacks according to DVOA, placing him right between Joe Flacco and Mitch Trubisky, who are both significant hindrances to their team's success. Going back to Josh Allen limiting the system, this reminds me a lot of the 2018 Bears. We have Mitch Trubisky, a quarterback that limits the system, but you have a good defense, you've got a good coach, you've got a good surrounding pieces, a decent offensive line. And I see a lot of this in the Bills. We've got good pieces around a quarterback that limits an offense and greatly limits the ceiling of the team that they are on. So I'm not saying that Josh Allen is Mitch Trubisky. I actually like Josh Allen a little bit more because I think he adds a little bit more to the offense because he can do more things than Mitch Trubisky. I'm just saying we have a similar situation here in terms of two quarterbacks that limit their offenses significantly, and that can really hinder the team's success for the entirety of the year. I'm not going to deny the talent is there with Josh Allen, but we just have not seen the accuracy yet. And until he shows me this, I can't just sit here and assume it will happen. He is an inaccurate quarterback, and this is going to greatly hinder his success until he can show improvements to me. Many guys look at Josh Allen as the future of the league. Someone like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, simply because of his similarities and in mobility and arm strength talent. But I don't think he really is even close to that category yet, because those guys that I mentioned before, they use their mobility to get out of the pocket and are able to be accurate on the run, accurate off balance, and Josh Allen is not able to do that now. He moves out of the pocket and it doesn't change too much because he's inaccurate anyway. Now, I think it's very interesting because we look at it and all those talents that I mentioned before, they're almost, except for mobility, the ability to run downfield, I think a lot of that is almost canceled out because he cannot be accurate. What good is his arm strength if he can't hit anybody deep? Or what good is his arm talent if he can't throw well on the run, if he can't throw accurately on the run or off balance? So I think that in order for me to really see Josh Allen as the future of the league, I think he really needs to take big strides in this accuracy department. Another misconception about Josh Allen, I think he's viewed as a good quarterback just because his team has had more success than other quarterbacks in the 2018 draft. Cough, Sam Darnold. But I think this is completely untrue. The Bills have the 7th best roster in the league, whereas Sam Darnold and the Jets, 28th best in the league. So I would even argue that 7 wins with Sam Darnold's supporting cast and Adam Gase, a terrible head coach, is more impressive than Josh Allen's 10 wins with the Bills with a fantastic young head coach. Not to mention that they played one of the easiest schedules in the league, and they played 5 playoff teams all year in the regular season and went 1-4 in those games. And then also, I just don't know if Josh Allen is going to be able to hold up against those better teams. PFF made a list of the worst quarterbacks against playoff teams last year, and Josh Allen had the 5th worst grade against playoff teams in 2020. So I'm not confident that this Bills team will be able to maintain its success because Josh Allen and the whole team struggled more against better competition, and this year they have one of the hardest schedules in the league. So now, to wrap it all up, the Bills have a tremendous defense, a great wide receiver room, a great running back core, a top-tier young head coach, but Josh Allen's lack of accuracy is what is holding back the Bills from being Super Bowl contenders this year and for years to come. Unless I see improvements from Josh Allen, it is going to stay that way. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm sorry, Bills Mafia. Those might be some hard words to hear. Let me know in the comments what you think. Leave a like if you agree, dislike if you disagree. Thanks so much for listening as always, and peace.